Hi, can everybody hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, my name is Trinita and I'm initially from Rwanda, but now I'm in Ottawa, Canada. And today I'm going to talk about the book of Dimitrie Sissi Mukanyirigira that has the title of Do Not Accept to Die. So I was blessed to read this book because I'm exactly the same age as the author had during the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi. And the author also comes from the same place where my family resides today, and which is exactly the same place where I grew up. And that place is called Kibagabaga. So throughout reading this book, I could envision all the places that the author was talking about, the neighboring cities like Timirongo, Rimera, Nyarutarama, Kabuga, all those places that the author was talking about. I could see myself like going through those places. So the author was orphaned at a very young age of 9 years old, but she talks about how she grew up in a very devoted Christian family, full of love. And she also talks about how she was daddy's girl. And by saying that, I remember the passage that I retained from this book, that every achievement that she had, like continuing till this day to pursue higher education, is that little voice that she keeps getting from her dad that encourages her to continue to reach like the very end. And she feels like her dad is watching her from the privileged place in heaven. So she also talks about how the propaganda and the hatred towards the Tutsis that made them being denied access to many public services like education, how her and her brothers were denied to go to school, but they could attend some technical training schools to just to make their father proud. And something I also liked about the book, which is also the title of this book, despite many traps that led her to her death in every day, she kept hearing the voice that was whispering inside her head that said, do not accept to die. And how that's how like she survived throughout like the whole 100 days till the RPF liberated the country. And I also love how the author was full of life during the 1994 genocide, especially to others. She was very young, she was 22, but she was full of hope, full of joy, even to the elders. And so if the author is here, I also have a question for her.
Absolutely. So, can we have the author is Dimitrie Mukanyirigira. I hope I didn't smash up. I'm Kenyan, so can we have Dimitrie on camera? Or if not, at least some sound, and just tell us where you are speaking from. Dimitrie?
I can't see her name.
I don't either.
Maybe she's using another, maybe iPhone. One of those iPhones is her. Let me see. Dimitri, est-ce que vous nous entendez?
Mais attends, j'essaie de voir si elle est là.
So while we wait for her, so we don't have, I do radio, so I hate dead air, and I'm sure you have. So can you tell us as a young person, what the biggest lesson you learned from this book? What did you learn?
Okay, so what I learned from this book, it's the history of the genocide and how the close people like the close people to your family, friends, neighbors, extended family members, and close family members are all the people that they grew up with are the same people that disappointed them. And it's not only her, the author, it's something that we usually see during the 1994 genocide. It's like they lost their humanity, they lost I can say they lost their selves by abandoning the people who they grew up with, by also giving the list of the names to the perpetrators. There's also one part of the book where I read where a father was a Hutu and he was married to a Tutsi wife, and he killed all his 3 children, including the wife. And he left only his eldest son, who, and he, in his defense, he would say that all the 3 kids that he killed looked more alike like Tutsis. That's why he killed them. So I learned that all the people during the 1994 genocide, they lost humanity. So family members, the neighbors, and it's very hard for survivors to regain trust after what they saw. And another message for the youth, I can say that we're blessed to grow up in a country as Rwanda. We were blessed to grow up and live in a peaceful country where there's no hatred and discrimination or any ethnic groups. So unlike our parents, so we should learn from the history of our country and try, I can say in Kinyarwanda, gutera ikirenge mu cyabo. It's like doing even more of what they could have done as survivors.
Wow, that is very profound. How old are you?
I'm 22.
Wow, that's very, very moving and very profound. Do we have Dimitrie? Were we able to get Dimitrie?
She's driving and the connection is very bad.
Okay, so we'll have to move on though,
Yes.
to give other people a chance. But so just can you quickly just close your closing thoughts, Trinita?
Okay, so I can say that from the question that I had, I can also make it as a closing.
Yes.
My question was, how did the author stick to her faith and Christianity despite what the servants of God were doing? Yeah, so there were many disappointments where she would go like to different churches seeking for a rescue, but she was still disappointed because of what the men of God would do. And till to this day, she's a devoted Christian. So I would say that despite of what life chooses to show us, we should stick to our faith and learn how to as also Jan said before, learn how to forgive and have hope for what the future has for us.
Thank you so much wisdom. Thank you very, very much, Sandra.
Parfait. Alors, on me dit dans l'oreillette que Dimitrie est là. Est-ce qu'elle vient d'arriver? Dimitrie?
Oui, oui, oui. Oui,
Oh,
bonjour, bonsoir, je suis là.
bonjour, super. Alors, Sarah, je te repasse la parole.
Non, donc juste 2 minutes. Je ne sais pas si vous avez entendu. I don't know if you heard Trinita's amazing comments about your book, but your closing thoughts in 2 minutes on young people reading your book. How does that make you feel?
Thank you so much. Actually, the young people are my favorite audience for this book because I myself was 22 years old and I was young like them, and I was full of dreams and hope for the future. So for me, when young people read my book, I'm really happy because I'm sure they learn something good and something positive about the about the world and the life they're having. And so far, I've got a lot of positive feedback from youth, from younger generations, because they throughout the book they read and they see life in all aspects, good and bad. And then they also see their part of responsibility in making good choices that we all need to have for ourselves, for our future, and for our communities. So for me, it's actually a message of hope and determination and resilience that youth and younger generations need to carry and to have, to be strong in everything they face, but also to be agents of change. They are youth, they are full of positive vibes, energy, and good enough today. They go to school, they are very well trained, and they have the intellectual capacity they can use in making the good choices for life. So for me, the good message is for the youth to go through the book and then get the message of resilience they need, but also the hope, and in the same time, be fully responsible of what happens to them. Going back to the genocide, a big number of killers, perpetrators were youth. So why did they choose to be killers instead of being good people? So it's also a kind of challenging them and asking them to go to take the lead and use their critical thinking in making good choices, protecting their lives and protecting the country, the families, and the society. So I think for me, youth, young generations are the one to take the lead for the future, and are the one to, we are giving them, we are transmitting them the resilience we had all the way. So that is the message for me, for the youth, and the feedback I get for the youth who had the chance to read my book. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dimitrie.